this video, I am going to show you how to alter my surgical style disposable fast mask. I'm going to give you some basic principles of alteration, and then I'm going to give you some basic guidelines as to where you may want to consider altering your pattern based on your problem areas. Hi everybody, I'm Gail Colmar. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started. It may make a lot of sense to simply print your mask pattern to a larger or smaller scale size, but faces are not really just bigger or smaller overall, but usually require more or less fabric in certain areas. It also may make sense to just cut off one side or the top or bottom of the mask, but this is going to cut off your markings such as your seam lines, so that's not the best methodology either. Let's start easy and just say that we want to change the width of fast mask. The best place to start is to simply slice the pattern vertically right down the middle. This method adds or removes extra fabric right down the center of the mask, which is really where you want it. So let me show you how I make the pattern more narrow. I am going to make marks on one side of the mask pattern that will indicate the amount of fabric or pattern that I want to remove. In this case, I am going to remove 1/4 inch of fabric in the width of this mask. I'll mark 1/4 inch at both ends and in at least one place in the middle. Overlap the left and right sides of the pattern and tape the other side of the pattern on those marks. I can measure or I can simply fold the pattern in half to make sure that I maintained a consistent width. I'm going to make sure that I label my new mask pattern. Now let's widen a pattern. Again, we're going to vertically slice the pattern right down the center. When you make the pattern larger in any dimension, it is easiest to use another piece of paper as a backer sheet. Glue down the first half of the pattern to the backer sheet, keeping it as square as possible. Mark the distance that you want to add. I am adding 1/4 inch. You want to mark at least 3 points on this line. Keeping it as square as possible, tape down the second half on the marks, tape one end down and then the other, tape the middle last. Glue this second half down to the backer sheet and then cut around the pattern. When comparing all three alterations, you see I have a narrow, a full size, and a wide pattern, each varying in width by about 1/4 inch. If you alter the width of this fast mask pattern, you are also going to need to alter the width of the nose wire. For construction purposes, just make sure you keep the total width in between the vertical dotted lines on the pattern. Now let's take a look at altering the height of this pattern. Fast mask is designed with 4 zones. You can specifically alter this pattern to get the best fit in each zone. On the left is a finished mask as sewn. On the right is a finished mask as worn. And in the middle is our alterations reference guide. I will show you how to make an alterations reference guide in just a few moments. First, let me show you the zones. The first zone is in the nose area. Some have a longer nose and need more added to this zone. Young children have a shorter nose compared to the rest of the face, and this might be a good place to delete fabric so the mask doesn't end up in front of their eyes. This second zone is the box pleat, which gives you the space in front of your mouth. If anything, most people would probably want more here, but very young children may need a bit less. Zone 3 is in the chin area. Again, young children have short chins compared to the rest of the face, and so this may be a good place to delete fabric for them. Others have a long chin or a larger lower jaw, and the mask slips a lot when they talk. This would be a good place to consider adding distance in addition with Zone 2. Zone 4 is right at the bottom. I have built in an extra fold at the bottom of the mask that helps seal the mask under the chin. If you want to add to that, you can just add to the bottom of the mask. Let's make an alteration reference so you can have that to guide you as you fit masks. Just take a fast mask pattern and fold it on the lines as we have done in the fast mask tutorial video. Turn it over, and this is the side that will be away from you in the finished mask. I am simply going to trace both edges of that box pleat. I am tracing the top of the box pleat, and we'll label that line 1. Then I'm going to trace the bottom of the box pleat and label this line 3. I'm going to make a note that line 4 is really at the bottom of the mask. Again, I can just add additional fabric here if I need it. Line 2 is going to be in the center of the box pleat. I find it helpful to use the fold on the other side as a guide. You can mark it on the other side, which will bleed through to the back, so you can connect those points with a line. I labeled mine as Alteration reference. If you like what you are watching so far, would you please just take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you click the bell, you will get notifications of future videos. Now that we have looked at basic techniques for changing the size of the pattern and principles to specifically target fit problem areas, let me demonstrate some alteration combinations in a few masks. On the first mask, I'll lengthen the chin after I shorten the mouth area. I'll shorten first and overlap and tape the pattern as we have done before. Then I will lengthen line 3 or the chin zone on the same mask using the glue and tape with a backer sheet. Here is a mask that needs to be both lengthened in the mouth area and widened. I will cut this mask vertically down the center to widen it, and then slice both halves horizontally on line 2 to open the mouth area. I'll glue, mark, and tape as before. Fast mask is quickly assembled using jigs. To make jigs from your altered pattern, just scan or photocopy your pattern. Check the gauge to make sure it printed to the correct size. Cut off the seam lines as before on the jigs, and label your pattern as pattern and your jigs as jigs. Again, label each altered mask pattern. Fold your jigs. A side-by-side comparison of the full-size mask and the altered jig will give you an indication of how you have changed the mask. You can see here it is wider and larger in the mouth area, but that has also changed the total height of the mask when it is flat. When it is worn, however, most of that extra distance should be three-dimensionally popped out in the mouth area. However, you may need to decrease the chin and nose area a bit if necessary. On this mask, I'm going to add a bit to both the nose and chin. Looking at Granny's mask and Dad's mask, you can see how I have added distance to specific areas by comparing the fold lines and seeing how the zones have shifted. Let's make a small mask for Junior. I will shorten the height at the nose and chin, and I'm going to make the mask more narrow. I don't need a backer sheet, but I am working over it. I sliced, marked, overlapped, and taped, starting at the top and moved down. This is more like a young child's face proportions. This mask should seal better around their chin, not get in their eyes as much, and be a more appropriate width. Here is a comparison to the full-sized face mask. You can see the mouth remains the same size, but the height of the nose has decreased. The chin is also higher, so the mask is going to be a little shorter overall, with the mouth remaining in its original position. It's always a good idea to check that you haven't shortened the nose so much that the box pleat will be accidentally sewn into the nose wire casing. If it is too close, you can just trim some of the nose wire casing at the top of the pattern and make your nose wires more narrow to fit the trimmed casing. As a final alteration strategy, don't forget that you can alter the length of the ear straps. Simply making those shorter or longer may actually give you the perfect fit without having to change the pattern in any significant way. There are nearly unlimited combinations of alterations. Keep experimenting until you find the best fit for you. I recommend that you experiment with paper or some inexpensive interfacing material that is comparable in drape or hand to your filtration material, so that you do not waste your filtration material that we ordered from Filti. Please share your fitting problems and solutions in the comments below so others can benefit from the collective experience. Remember, a little alteration can go a long way. Do not underestimate the power of the 1/8 inch. Thank you for watching. Be well and stay tuned for a word from the Word.